What's an NSFW confession you've been dying to share anonymously? Years ago, I was fixing a lag issue with my boyfriend's parents' computer. His dad was the pastor of his church. I was tracking where they downloaded malware, and I noticed a ton of sites in browser history about using vegetables as sex toys. The next day, they had us help them with their backyard garden. They were growing rows of carrots and cucumbers. Face-confounded, my BF kept asking me why I was so quiet, and I didn't have the heart to ever say why.
I once dated a girl. It was intense passion. She was highly intelligent and had these piercing eyes that locked me in place. After a while, she confessed a deep sexual desire, which was to draw my blood and write with it. Like poems and shit. Not sure. Those piercing eyes got very scary after that, and I did not want to sleep next to her and ended things. Maybe I dodged something, or maybe I lost something that day. Sometimes my morbid curiosity makes me wonder.
I'm vanilla and I love it.
I know it's very common, but I want to be completely owned by a dom so fucking bad. I crave it every day.
I enjoy eating pussy more than I enjoy having PIV sex.
I ate a donut off a guy's dick twice. I want to try things with chocolate syrup and whipped cream, but am scared away by the cleaning process.
My first boyfriend I had sex with drew a very detailed, extravagantly done nude pic of me and posted it on the internet. It gained a lot of attention. He didn't tell me this for many years, and I've no idea where it is or what it could be under. I wish that I could find it. I was very sexy back then, lol.
One time in my a man BTW 20s, I was at a sex party having a great time. I got very thirsty after some time in one of the rooms and left fully naked walking across the house towards the kitchen. I made it about 5 feet away from the fridge and water before a woman stopped me and started giving me head, which was all well and good, but more than anything, I was really thirsty. At this point, a crowd had gathered to watch the spectacle. So now, there was a human wall and some dude I don't know locked eyes with me and was like, "Hell yeah, brother," and I asked him to get me a glass of water. So while this girl was putting a show on using my appendage, this little dude ran off and brought me water and I chugged it while getting head. Twice before she was done rolling on the floor laughing. I'll never forget his face of glee. He was like the pit crew to a NASCAR racer. He was all about helping the team succeed.
I fingered my wife to an orgasm while I was driving through a town centre. Her orgasm was so intense that she fell asleep straight after. When we got home, she dragged me to the bedroom and fucked for like hours. Never been able to do it that long before or after, and had multiple orgasms myself. I genuinely got her pregnant that night. If I hadn't gotten horny in the car and fingered her, I definitely wouldn't have my boy, who is currently watching the Mario movie.
Thank goodness this'll be buried. I want to fuck my partner in their ass real good to the point of blissful tears. I want them coming hard, his dick untouched. It's no secret that I like their ass, but the extent is too overwhelming for me. I have fantasies of wanting to dive in. Sometimes, during sex, I think about me penetrating them and arrive at my final destination just based off that. However, they don't like it at all. Like they do not want anything touching there. Anus, I'm cool with it, it's their body. A bitch can dream.
Got drunk with an old coworker and fingered her while we made out in my car. She gave me a blowjob. All the audio was recorded on my dash cam. I still have it and get off to it quite a bit.
I enjoy occasionally, once in a blue moon, a soft peck on the lips.
I was fucking my wife in the back seat of our car, and this guy on a bike rode by looked in at us and gave me a thumbs up. I gave him a thumbs up back and he rode off. Never told my wife. Met a girl on Tinder who I had a super casual relationship with for a few months. We both knew it wouldn't lead to more, but the sex was incredible. We would have incredibly kinky sex too, and it was generally a lot of fun. It ended when she moved away for work, but I saw her 2 years later when I attended my cousin's engagement party. Turns out, my cousin lived in the same city that she moved to, and they both dated and got engaged and eventually married. We were both shocked to see each other but played it off like we never were, and swore to never tell my cousin.
I did it in public, on the third date. I, 26F, had a dream about having sex with another woman and came in my sleep. Now all I want to do is make another girl come, but I'm married with 2 kids.
Edit. I had a phone name too. It was Trish. My first job at 18 was as a phone sex operator. This was in the late 90s. I had a headset and everything. It was all done by phone. Online chat hadn't become an industry widely used platform yet. We had male employees too. The company kept track of our average call times. I usually made the top of the list. A life achievement I proudly carry with me to this day. Lot of weird stories from that time. All. So, if you've ever gotten a tarot reading from a hotline psychic, good chance you're speaking to a phone sex operator who got promoted to what we called the other side, which was literally the other side of the call center. I write smut. I'm a corporate suit type by day, porn fiction writer by night. A commenter said, "Your fics get me off every single time." One of the proudest moments of my life, and I couldn't even post about it on my regular social media. Edit to add. A different reviewer put sweat 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 as feedback on another story of mine, so I guess he or she enjoyed it too. Another nice comment I'm proud of, but couldn't post about, haha. The guy in the shoe department cheats on his wife with anyone, well, who has a pulse. I don't get it, he looks like Beaker from the Muppets, but the man gets tail.
My mom bought me a build-your-own sock monkey kit for Christmas when I was 13. I started it. One night I saw it just sitting there with the bottom open where cotton was stuffed into it. I fucked it. Then in a fit of remorse and guilt, buried it in the backyard at night. Years later my dog dug it up and brought it inside. My mom has questions, but I had no answers, only silence. I want to disappear. One day wander off, go live where no one knows me, and to never be found by anyone who does know me. Not really NSFW.
Not me, but my sister told me it. At 17, she once had a nightmare our mom had died. One of those really sucky nightmares where nothing outlandish can tip you off to its falsehood. So when she woke up, she ran down the hallway in a delirious fit of fright and burst into our parents' room. A bit of context before I continue. Both parents had thought the other had locked their door, and they had coincidentally also woken up early, but under much more. Asterisk. Positive asterisk circumstances. She didn't walk in on them in the act, but they were both naked and into some foreplay. She said she was so happy mom was alive it didn't immediately register what she was seeing. How dark it was that early also helped. And went right to expressing her relief until our very alive mother gave her a very loud, "Get the hell out of here." So my sister got the best news in perhaps the worst way. Mom was not only still alive, she was also very much still in love with Dad.
I had a wet dream about candied bacon once. I woke up upon release and realized I was full on rubbing one out in my sleep while dreaming of glorious candied bacon. I'm fairly sure I fell asleep high on Mary Jane and awoke completely blasphemous as the lights were on. My legs were spread, and it's clear I had really just went to town and had an insanely good nut to a asterisk food item asterisk. This is what being overworked overnights, sex deprived and loving, be. It can coat it in syrup gets you.
I once got on a pallet on a forklift at work to repair the ceiling in the warehouse I was working at. I had a harness, but it probably wouldn't have helped much if things went wrong. The dumbest thing I said yes to at a job and would never do it again.
I made a fetish video for a guy I know a couple years ago. He said he's watched it to get off dozens of times, but when he does come, he stops the video. He says he's still never gotten to the end of it, and it's less than 10 minutes long edit. Sorry, I wasn't really expecting this comment to be seen. The fetish was stuck porn, and it was extra authentic because it's also one of my fetishes face with tears of joy.
Accidentally walked in on my grandparents once. I still can't look at crochet blankets without shuddering.
When I was a kid, I thought my nether regions were ugly and I wanted a penis, so I tried to cut my clitoris off. I remember jumping around in pain before setting the scissors down and thinking, let's not do that again. I still have a small chip taken out of my labia, like a dog's ear with one of those.
I have tried to suck my own dick.
One evening after a night out way back in 2012, I was super depro and considered killing myself. While I sat in my car parked on a small bridge-like ramp in town, some random dude stopped behind me to check if everything was okay. I'm drunk and crying. The one guy gets in my car and for some reason I start sucking him off. That dick might have just saved my life. Never got his name, never saw him again.
When I was 18, 2004, I made a dating profile that said I was into older women. I was and still am the quiet, nerdy type. As expected, I got zero traction with it for months, but eventually, I got a message saying that it was this woman's daughters who had set up a dating profile for their mother. I was too dumb to worry about scams, and thankfully it wasn't. We met, and despite the massive age gap, I was 18, she was 47, we actually had a lot in common, and we had a wonderful relationship. We dated for a few years, but she eventually broke things off, as other people in her family had issues with my age. The past couple years, I've become involved with my local kink community and made so many great connections and play partners over that time. I don't always have sex with my play partners, but I do enjoy it, and it happens fairly frequently. This past year alone, I've had more sexual partners than I have the entirety of my previous life combined. It is very weird that this is the community I've landed in after leading a fairly vanilla life otherwise, because the community is so diverse. Some of these partners have been older and some younger. One was late 20s and absolutely gorgeous. After we wrapped up, she told me she was an model and where I could find her content. Checked an item off the list without even knowing that's what I was doing. Kink is fun.
I'm a straight guy that used to live stream on cam sites and jack off in front of dozens of strangers. My viewers were probably 95% men. At the time, I hadn't been with anyone before, and my self-confidence and body image were pretty low, so the amount of thoughtful compliments, returning viewers, and offers for payment was extremely validating for me. I would 100% be doing this often if I were still single. Might even try to actually make some money.
I work as a forklift driver, but I'm not actually forklift certified.
GF broke up with me a few months ago, and for the first time in my life, I'm sleeping with multiple women. Kink stuff too. It's fun, new experiences, heightened sexual confidence, feel a little bit invincible.
OP taking the easy route on extortion schemes.
I have the strange, and most definitely illegal, fetishes of being kidnapped and/or raped. No idea why. I don't have any past trauma or experiences even somewhat relating to either. But my boyfriend likes to pin me down, so good enough for me, El Mao.
Just to say, I am enjoying this post way too much.
I want to be shrunken down and stepped on by my barefoot husband. That's it. That's my entire fantasy.
I moved back home during COVID. I have the money to move out, but my parents don't care if I just save money and stay here. The only reason I haven't moved out yet is I've been hooking up with a neighborhood MILF for over 2 years now, and it's awesome. Shout out to my dog for insisting she gets pets from her from the first day. We crossed paths walking around the neighborhood. I've always been talented in drawing. Back in high school at an all-boys boarding school, I discovered a hidden talent for drawing comics. One day, I sketched a rather explicit porn comic, but forgot to stash it away. A friend stumbled upon it and surprisingly asked for more. He was even willing to pay for it. Before I knew it, I was running a custom porn comic business for a year, taking orders and delivering. My grades went down, so I had to stop. This day, I'm still amazed that the teachers never caught on.
I put a revolver to my head and pulled the trigger. The firing pin got stuck. That gun had never malfunctioned, and it worked just fine every time I shot it after until I sold it.